The world doesn't have to be ending for it to be considered news, and Calvin, our resident dumpster diving journalist, digs deep to find the stories too weird for major media to cover. You might have the blues and you just want to snooze, but when it comes to the news, there's only one man you choose. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Weird News with Calvin.
Thank you for joining us here with Weird News with Calvin. I am Calvin, and this is, in fact, Weird News with Calvin. Who is me? I'm Calvin, and this is Weird News with Calvin. I am joined, as always, by my co-hosts from Unmasked on Air,
Dylan,
PJ,
And I'm Derek.
and this is the show where I have, as PJ so eloquently put, dug through the filth that is the internet and am bringing you the real news, the hard-hitting news, the not fake news, the news. Today's story comes to us from huffingtonpost.co.uk. It's a British story.
So you have to read the rest of this in an English accent.
Do you want do you want the old mother English?
no, do Cockney.
Oh, you want right then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bunch of fucking gits! No, Calvin voice is fine.
Okay. Our headline reads as follows. Illegal rubber duck race halted by police officers in Cotswolds town Burton on the Water. Because everything that is named over in England is named some weird thing like that. Onlookers said it was like something out of Hot Fuzz. Police officers were called into action over an illegal, that's in quotes, rubber duck race disrupting the peace in a Gloucester village on Sunday. Burton on the Water in the Cotswolds was hosting the event in an effort to raise money for Blood Bikes, a legitimate charity which offers a free blood and medical equipment delivery service to NHS facilities. Shortly after, 100 bright yellow rubber birds were let loose into the River Windrush. A disgruntled local called the police to invoke an ancient law that says the river may not be used for fundraising on a Sunday. Officers swept into action after the tip-off and threatened to arrest the organizers if the event wasn't shut down. Quote, I have to say, it soured the whole day, bystander Jonathan Dixon said. Talk about using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. The officers looked pretty embarrassed about it, and I can understand why. Quote, it was like something out of the film Hot Fuzz. Surely the cops have better things to do than stop a rubber duck race in the Cotswolds. However, some local residents were less than supportive of the charity event's efforts. Quote, it's frankly unfair to expect the villagers to put up with such nonsense from these undesirables who ruin the peace and quiet and then accuse us of being killjoys, one person told Gloucester Live. A police spokesperson said, at about 2:45 p.m. on Sunday, June 19th of 2016, police responded to a complaint that a number of motorbikes were parked on the village green and by local bylaw were braking said bylaw protecting this site. An officer asked the riders to move their bikes, which they kindly did. Organizers of the duck race were given advice about guidelines and permissions governing the staging events of the green. Job done. No word on whether the police went for a cornetto afterwards. And that is the story, and I'm sticking to it. So, of course, now I ask you and invite you for your opening thoughts on why...
We're your panel of talking heads.
Well, yeah, what do you think? Do you think that should have been shut down, or do you think that an innocent rubber duck race...
Well, I think that's just a fucking shame.
Who is in the studio right now?
Well, it's me, a rubber duck race extraordinaire from a weird named place in England, and I think that's a Christ-to-life shame.
Now, you know my thoughts, which are, of course, that
You love ducks.
I love ducks. Not the ducks from a while ago.
Right.
Those
Remember
were
that
awful.
when we
We
were
cleared
recording
those
the
up.
podcast and we had to fight those cyber ducks?
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't
it's hard to forget.
Right.
See Arc 1
Rough Unmasked Runner. So no, but I honestly do. I truly do. I love ducks. So to me, like a nice little fun yellow rubber ducky race down a river doesn't seem like something I'd call the cops on.
Were they all yellow? Like, how did they tell who was going to win?
Maybe numbers. I don't know.
Okay.
I'd like to
You're asking all
imagine
the
that
wrong
they
questions.
put little hats on them.
That's what I thought. Maybe like one has a construction hat, the other has like a sombrero.
So they're like the ducks at work.
See?
Start singing the YMCA. Young duck. There's no need to feel down.
Yes, rubber duck.
Oh man, that's good. To the river,
Third duck.
we will have a swim race.
And there's a bunch of more fucking ducks.
Calvin's so happy. We're
Calvin
gonna go
wants
to
to have
the
a bunch of
ducky
fucking
boat race.
ducks.
We're gonna go to the ducky boat race. Okay, I'm getting way too happy,
getting it.
dude. I'm so happy. Okay, so my first question. That's actually a great place to start. My first question, because to make this story and segment worth it,
Right.
I have to ask you guys a series of questions. My first question: how would you distinguish your ducky in a rubber ducky river race? What would you put on your ducky to tell that it was yours?
You know those cards where when you open them, they play music?
Mm-hmm.
There are some that you can record.
Yeah.
I would just buy one that you can record, and I'd take the box out, and
Yeah.
I'd
Stick it in the duck, right?
Yeah, and it would just be evil laughing, like Lex Luthor evil laughing.
Like, can you give me a description of what that would sound like?
Oh no, shit! No, it'd have to quack because it's a quack, 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 quack.
Oh man, you're giving me PTSD to that.
Yeah, I don't particularly like that. I
The-
don't know
the
why.
cyborg
I'm
duck.
not sure why.
Sorry.
Okay, Dylan, what would you do to your rubber duck to distinguish it from the other ducks?
I don't know. Put a number on it.
You are the least entertaining
This is
person.
a weird question.
Derek, what would you put on your rubber ducky?
I would probably paint my duck blue because I've always wanted to see a blue duck and I've never seen a blue duck before.
Well, you gotta be
admittedly.
careful with that because it could blend in with the water.
Firstly, a blue
Get it,
duck
guys?
would be great, but like, okay, no, I like that. I would give mine a pirate hat and an eye patch.
Oh, that's good.
What would you name it? Quackbeard?
No,
You
black
don't.
bill.
No.
Yes.
What? That doesn't. Oh, Quackbeard is so much better. Derek, pick.
I like Quackbeard better.
Roasted.
Are you gonna? Are you
Whose
gonna,
duck
like,
is this? Whom's duck? Is
Whom's?
Right. What?
Are you going to actually like take out one of the duck's eyes?
Well, I'd have to. Why else would he wear? No, actually, historically, pirates wore scarves over their eyes so that when they went below deck, they could swap the bandana to the other side and they'd be able to see better and not have to wait for their eyes to adjust. So,
Oh.
no, they would need both eyes.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I
He
learned
knows.
something
Yeah.
today.
Okay. My second question. If you could not race rubber ducks down a river, what would you choose to race down the river? Say that the law was because it's ducks, but you could race anything else. What would you race down the river?
A live pig in a canoe.
One live pig, then the live pig wins. That's a silly thing to race.
No. You put a pig in a canoe and
Right.
you just push the canoe off.
That's not a race.
Right, but I'm saying
Are you
like,
talking about like
it-
many pigs?
yeah, we
in a
don't have
canoe?
to pick a pig and race the
Okay.
pig. But my pig would fucking win.
What would your pig's name be?
I don't know. Can I circle back to that?
Yes, we can. Like his curly little tail.
I like that. I
Dylan.
like pigs.
What would you race down the river in the Cotswolds? Numbers?
Yes, numbers. Inflatable numbers.
Inflatable numbers. Okay, but once you got past the teens, you have to tape them together. Is that one that won, or is it a one from the three? It would get very confusing.
There would only be 9.
Oh, only 9 contestants.
I
That's
have
no
another
problem.
name for your pirate duck.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So, Captain Jack Quackham.
Oh, I love that. That's the winner.
Oh, thank you. I got to think of my pig name.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would. Okay, so these are like rubber ducks.
Yeah.
Can they be? But they can be real. Like he's choosing a pig and a canoe. so
You
they
can
be
race
real thing.
whatever you want.
Okay.
I'm just asking what you want to race.
So I'm going with the idea that the four of us are racing.
Sure, okay.
And we're not riding these things or physically racing, but we're sending a thing. We're gonna race manatees. Now
You love your manatees, don't you?
that I do. I really do. And I've thought of the perfect names for them.
Oh, okay.
And please try not to interrupt as I say these names.
Of course.
They would be Martha Wayne, Martha Kent, Martha Washington, and why did you say that name?
How would you tell them apart? Numbers, or would you give them funny hats?
Yeah, hats probably.
Perfect.
That's
Maybe
that's a good
cows.
one. Or you know what? Not like vests.
What about
Like
like a
suit
dress?
vests?
If you're calling them all Martha, what if you gave them like a little like house dress?
No, I don't want to assume.
You could.
Good call.
That's fair.
But vests, because I like the idea of their flippers coming out.
the
but
little
but
armholes?
they got their little but they got the vest.
I would put my pig in a powdered wig, and I would name him Oink Washington,
Nice.
so that I would.
Do you think he and Martha Washington the manatee are married?
No, I don't think that.
It's-
I fucking know that.
Oh, thank you.
They hold Hove and Flipper.
I shipped that.
Well, it's a good thing they're racing on the water then.
This is a real news program.
Yeah, Dylan. Oh, of course it is. This is the best one. They can't call this one fake. Dylan, have you settled on inflatable numbers, or do you have a different answer for me before I give my answer?
No, I don't really have one.
Old
Okay.
shoes.
Blow up dolls is my answer.
What I expected.
I would stick sails in their open, shocked, expressioned mouths, and we would have a blow up doll race.
Would we have to like sit on them and sail
You
them?
know what? Honestly, I wasn't gonna say so, but I think the idea of like a pool inflatable riding your blow up doll, maybe having a paddle, yes. And
I hate to be.
and of course we would tell them apart by the different negligees we dressed them in.
We get to choose that, correct?
Oh yeah, no, mine's all leather BDSM,
Right.
mask, full like leather kinkster. It's gonna be great.
I've dressed mine up in an outfit similar to George Washington's.
What is with you and the first president of the United States today?
What do you mean?
Okay, you're right. He's majestic
Great
as
guy.
fuck.
Yeah.
Dylan knew him personally, apparently.
The fake cone boobs on your blow up doll is a perfect place to set your oar.
That's great.
Right in
Also,
between.
would you enhance yours like Madonna? Make them
No.
real pokey?
No. I
Dylan,
think
how
they'd
would
be
you
the
dress
same.
your blow up doll in my blow up doll race? And if you say with numbers, I would be really upset at you.
How about an Iron Man suit?
I feel like you would sink. But,
Oh yeah,
Worth it.
Oh, okay, dope. And
be
Derek,
submersible.
Derek, how are you dressing your blow up doll?
I'm trying to be PC here. I don't want to say the slave Leia outfit, so I will say the indentured servant Leia outfit.
You know, I think I've changed my mind. I think the leather's was gonna get too waterlogged. I think I'm just going to send her nude and lubed. Hashtag nude and lubed. We're just gonna that way. You know, the water she doesn't get. What would you say? Like there's like a certain amount of viscosity there, so like it would
Right.
really. I feel like it would just fly across the river. Also, I've rigged mine up with a secret motor. It's just like a desk fan
But
that's
you would
USB
slip
powered.
right the fuck off.
Yeah, I think
Oh
so.
yeah, no, but that's half the fun. Is now I'm trying to stay on while I race.
The whole time he's just like, hold it.
Yeah, it's like riding a ball. Okay, my last question before we end this ridiculous news segment about racing rubber duckies.
I'm surprised
Yes,
that you weren't racing actual ducks.
ducks are a free spirit.
You
Derek.
can't control them.
No, they are gonna fly or swim where they want to.
Or waddle.
Yeah, they do. They waddle and they wag their fat little tails and just ducks. Anyway, my last question for you all before we end this ridiculous news segment on rubber ducks is where, if we're not allowed to race rubber ducks in the Cotswolds, where are we going to race rubber ducks? 100 rubber ducks.
Niagara Falls.
How do you tell who wins? You have to set up a pretty good photo finish.
Yeah.
Is it crossing the line that like starts the fall, or is it whoever lands first?
I would say hits the bottom first.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah.
Or we would have some kind of like, obviously they'd have to be like weighted down because there's a lot of water pressure and moving water down there. But I'm thinking like hula hoops. And so like you'd have to like the first one to like fall into, there'd be several of them, but the first one to actually fall into a certain hoop.
Oh, okay.
You know
So
what I
now
mean?
you're like upping the challenge.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Great. Dylan, where are you racing your numbered rubber ducks? You have to glue their hats on really good, Derek.
Oh yeah.
It'd be an interesting place to race Old Faithful.
Like the geyser? They would melt.
So, okay. So you throw them all like into the water as it blasts up. What is the?
They'd be sitting there just before it sets off.
Well, then he's right. They would melt. That's
Yeah.
like 400 degrees. So it's gonna rain molten plastic with numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like
Well,
whichever?
you can't see the numbers.
So I was gonna say, is the winner like whichever number you can identify?
there is no winner.
I think he's just a goddamn serial
He
killer.
just wants to kill all the ducks, which I'm really offended by. PJ, where would you race rubber ducks if not the River Cotswolds?
The lazy river of Wet and Wild, the world's biggest water park.
Okay, but that is a loop. So is there like a circuit?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay.
It's a 3-lap race, 150cc in Luigi's Circuit. Same shape.
I follow what you're saying.
Yeah,
You ship it?
absolutely.
I do.
I don't think that's how you're supposed to use that.
I don't know.
I'm not hip.
I don't understand anime.
For my answer, I'm gonna say a 100-yard long slip and slide
Yep.
that
Okay.
has been Criscoed.
Right.
And then what you do is everybody starts right. They're all like they're up against a board, and we're talking like a 65-degree angle straight down.
Right.
Right, and you just lift the board and let them go. And mine's not even who hits the bottom first; it's whoever makes it the furthest off of the Visqueen that you've laid down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yep.
I was thinking outside the box.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Weird News with Calvin.
The cops are angry, the ducks are rubber, and the news is weird. This is Weird News with Calvin.